Oh, my ass. I shouldn't have gone to Taco Bell last night. Yeah, I'm still freaking handsome, though. Nice. Come on, you piece of shit. Start. There
Yeah,
we go.
I bought this from Goodwill, so you know what?
Mhm.
Bought it at a bargain, $2.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? This kind of reminds me of a dream I just had. Funny
Oh,
enough.
yeah?
Yeah, it was about I went to the bathroom, and I think that's all I remember.
Nice.
Let's get this on the road. Show on the
All
road.
right. So, this is the RE3 remake discussion.
Ye-
All right. So here, yeah, we got the opening of the game. Nemesis bursts in. We're actually at a recreation of the apartment. Uh, all of this is happening right in this room. And at this
Mhm.
point, they've pretty much left the room. So yeah, it's an
Yeah,
interesting opening. You got the whole nightmare sequence, which was the bit you guys just saw. Um,
just a little
and then
modified.
there's that. Yeah, not quite the same, but yeah, if you play the game, you'll
You'll
see it.
get it. Honestly, I would have to say that the strongest part of the game is the intro, because one of my favorite parts is when you're getting through the apartment and there's that ladder on the fire escape, and you're like, oh, I need to go down this fire escape, and Nemesis just bursts through and gets you. I think
Mm-hmm.
like the scripted moments with Nemesis are pretty good.
Yeah.
But that speaking of scripted moments, I'm gonna segue this to something that you mentioned, uh, that actually, you know what, you talk about it. Mr. X in the remake of 2 versus Mr. X, Nemesis in 3, how it feels a little different due to it being scripted.
Oh yeah, yeah. So granted, Mr. X in RE2 is like there are scripted events here and there. They do sometimes cheat and he'll like teleport across the station to get to you quicker, but it's out of your sight. You can't see it. It's just so the tension can keep moving along and everything. Nemesis just kind of is almost entirely scripted.
Hmm.
And it's just not he's not nearly as intimidating. Physically, like yeah, this does look pretty freaking scary and I wouldn't want to. Whoop, my thing just refreshed. We're good though. Um, but uh, shit, what was I saying? Yeah, it's just he's too scripted, so it just doesn't feel as intimidating when he's coming after you. Is all.
To an extent, I agree. I feel like on the normal difficulties, he's pretty like tame. But I played on Nightmare, and he was so fast. It felt like it was a mod, and he was so freaky because his hits would like stun you like so bad because
Mhm.
you know how Nemesis stuns, but the thing is he's so fast in this version that if he stuns you, you're kind of just dead.
Yeah,
And
I'm
it
just
kind of
switching to
makes
this
the
because I was too tall before and I couldn't like fit into frame here.
yeah, but
Uh,
yeah, I Nemesis. I do agree that I feel Mr. X had this looming like feeling to like whenever you were in the police station, you just like if you couldn't run, you couldn't shoot, you could. But with Nemesis, you have a lot more leeway, and yeah, it is a little more restricted to how he. His moments are interesting though. I uh, I love
yeah.
how he
Uh,
just gets absolutely fucked up by Jill in the beginning with the car.
All right. I do want to point out what was on screen a second ago. As you come into the first bit, and like Jill's like limping through the street. There is a like Cafe Sigourney or something. I don't know. It's a restaurant. Reference to Sigourney Weaver from Alien. There's a bunch
Nice.
of mock movie posters. One of them's mock like a knockoff of Ferris Bueller. Another one's I forget what they were, but they're all like classic 80s and 90s movies imitations.
Cool.
Also in the subway, there's some Alien and Terminator knockoff posters.
Mm. Yeah, I didn't really pick up on that. Next playthrough, I should kind of soak in the details.
Yeah, it's cool bits at first. All right.
Yeah. So the gameplay, are actually first. How should we do this? I don't think I asked the game plan of like, are we going to go into the story? Are we going to go into how it plays?
Yeah, the whole thing. It's
okay. The gameplay. To explain to everyone, for the people that have played the Resident Evil 2 remake and haven't played Resident Evil 3, it's just like Resident Evil 2's but updated. You can do a really like broken dodge mechanic thing.
And I always forget to do it.
Yeah, it's a lifesaver when you have to deal with a ton of zombies or Nemesis near the end when he's doing the hands. He's slapping the ground and shit.
Yeah.
But it also feels kind of weird in a horror game to be able to just kind of like zip. Like that's the one thing about Resident Evil 3 versus Resident Evil 2 is Resident Evil 2 was action oriented, but it didn't feel like the action was like always there. Where it's like Resident Evil 3 feels like an action horror movie to an extent.
Yeah. I do like this sequence here where he's like coming at you and you're trying to start the car.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great.
It's still though, it's just like he does the same thing like Terminators do sometimes. It's like they got their target and they choose to just like slowly walk to the target. It's like just go up and just you're dead and be done with it.
You think they would have engineered him to walk faster?
If they did that, this game would be over in 5 minutes instead of 10.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
The length of the game is something we kind of want to talk about, I'm sure.
You can beat it in like 3 hours or less.
Yeah,
I mean, the first time it might take you longer, but once you know what you're doing, you can pretty much get through it in 3 hours, especially if you use the bonus stuff.
Mm-hmm. My best is like 1 hour and 30 minutes or something. And now it's just like speeding through. But like my first playthrough is like 5 hours or something because a lot of it was just like doing a lot of random shit.
Pretty good.
Very good. It's a really fast game, and I would say if you're like a speed runner, I think that's a good thing. And I think one of the good things about the earlier Resident Evils is that it going through the game is so quick that it's actually kind of addictive to just beat it and then go through it again faster. Yeah. And this game, it kind of just helps you do that by putting it almost on rails.
Yeah.
But it's not like there's still like you can go around and like pick lockers and do all that shit.
Yeah.
It's a cool environment. I think it's nice to see the city. You get the intro is a good. Fuck, I forgot what I was going to say. The intro is a good. You can quote me on that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, some of the in between stuff is just kind of where it lacks. Like one thing I think it really lacks in, aside from I don't know the extent of it, but they took a lot of stuff out that was in the original version, like the original RE3, and that's upsetting to hear. I've not played the original ones because the gameplay looks a little too tanky to me, but maybe I'll try it someday. Like RE2 remake was pretty good. It plays well. It's got a good spooky atmosphere. This kind of just like doesn't have that, even though it's like the exact same zombie models and they behave the same way. It just doesn't really. Like I think I only felt maybe kind of scared the first time I played it at certain parts, but mostly I was just like, this isn't that bad. This is kind of all right.
I think a good example of what you're saying is in the police station is Carlos. Like when the zombies come through the wall or you encounter the lickers, you're like, oh hey, I have this assault rifle.
Yeah,
Never mind.
I'm gonna bring something up about that kind of pisses me off. So when I first got to go in there, I'm like, oh shit, we're back here. I get to check this out. Now you are actually before Leon and Claire arrive. It's the same like night, but it's just earlier. I have a problem with this because if you go up the steps, you go up to the right. I think you can. Yeah, I don't think you can go into the waiting room or whatever it is up on the right side. There's chairs blocking the door. I think the same for the library. I'm not sure. I forget if you can go in there or not. You might, but I forget. There's a lot of doors that are just they have shit in front of them that you can go into in RE2, and I'm like, why didn't they just have the door locked and just make it like, oh, like I haven't locked it yet. The thing is, the only living person left in here is Marvin, who you only see him very briefly in RE3, where he gets bitten and then he splits, and you're like, he's in hiding. You never see him again until RE2, where he's like a side character in that for a bit. There are other officers in the station, but they're all like hiding for some reason, or they're in a different area. I'll assume they're down in the basement looking for like the clues to the medallion stuff and whatever.
Right.
Oh, here we go, the money shot.
Money shot?
Yeah. This is like the worst thing in the game.
Could you explain?
Wait, you don't see this?
Yeah, this entire time you've just been pointing to a blank screen. I thought you were gonna add this in post.
Shit, I think you might have to click the load button on the thing there. But what just happened in the footage? Jill's just reached the electrical area that she's got to go through, that station.
Oh, with the I forget what they're called. They're like Deimos or Demos or whatever.
Yeah, and it's those things that come down and they just like grab you by the neck and they just like they put something down your throat, alien style.
Oh yeah, that part makes my skin crawl.
I hate that so much.
I think that's the one. What? Sorry, continue.
You have to have green herbs on you, or you're not getting through this, because these things will keep attacking you, and all the little ones will do it as well. And you have to get a green herb in you, or you will die from like poisoning like really quickly.
Sorry, 1 second. This anime thing's playing. I can't stop it.
Damn, I probably should have done testing yet. It seems to be local, so
I'm gonna turn.
That's.
I'm gonna turn off the video. Okay. So I'm just gonna take your word on it. I know the exact part.
Yeah. This explains why you weren't looking at the TV and like reacting with stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. My bad.
No, it's all good.
I didn't realize this system, requires everyone to click load. It's really stupid. But yeah. Yeah, that stuff makes my skin crawl. But yeah, back to the station. So the other thing is when you go in, you go past the gun locker room, and you go up the staircase. You go up all the way to the top. There's supposed to be a hole up there, and it isn't. Now, yes, Carlos does blow a hole in the floor below, but I don't see how blowing a wall here is going to destroy a wall here up on the second floor. it was blown out by something else. So unless like they don't explain that, so I wish they kind of did, because it's like, okay, who came up here and blew this wall out in between
Mhm.
like these few hours? Just kind of a little bit annoying.
Yeah, I see what you
Uh,
mean. There
yeah.
is some bits of the police station that are kind of nice little tidbits where you get to see where certain parts happen. Like you get to
Yeah.
see how Marvin gets bit. He gets bit by Brad. Oh, by the way, I think we just totally forgot mentioning
Yeah.
Brad from the first game. He's the helicopter guy you don't see, or at least you don't see him in the remake of the first game. And he makes a really, really small appearance, and then he dies.
Yeah. He gets bit by a zombie, and then you see him later.
Hmm.
And he bites Marvin. Marvin runs off, and then you have to kill Brad. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, the only unfortunate thing is Carlos doesn't know who this is. It's just some guy to him. In the
Um.
original game, Carlos doesn't go to the station. It's Jill that goes to the station, and she's the one that I think has to do it. Which, like, why didn't you do that? That's way more emotionally impactful.
Yeah,
Is
because the
like
thing is,
you would have had her like holding up the gun and like, no, I don't want to do this. She'd have had the same
mhm,
hesitation that uh, Marvin had, because that's
mhm,
what got him bit in the end. Because he pauses in like mid attack and just like, sorry.
mhm.
If I'm gonna say that again in case that didn't get picked up by the bot. He just like in a zombie way, just like says sorry, and it's like really like ragged. And Brad like hesitates, and that's when he just leaps forward and bites him. Which
Yeah.
does, I'll admit, that does tie into RE2, where he's like, either whichever character you play is, he tells them like, if you see one of these things, don't hesitate. So it's like
Mhm.
that's why he's like, don't, because that's what happened to me here. That's why I'm bitten.
Yeah, even if it's someone you recognize. Yeah, it's a good callback. And one thing is Carlos does make a remark, but it's a snide remark when you go into the that one area. So you remember in scenario B where you get your police blues and stuff?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and you have the gun. You go there and there's a poster of Brad, and he makes a remark about him being like the poster boy or something, and it's kind
Hmm.
of it's weirdly out of taste. carlos I Carlos's character is really confusing because like there's parts of where he's actually like a genuinely decent character, and then he's like sexually harassing Jill like most of the time,
Yeah, it's
and it gets kind of uncomfortable even if like the different playthroughs you're just kind of like Jill the entire time.
yeah,
It's just like going along with it because it's like she has to survive.
yeah, yeah. I think I can't think of any examples straight up of like exact lines. The only one I do find funny though is, I don't know where he says it, but he says it one time and then he like says it again later as more of a joke.
Hmm.
Uh, like, I won't leave you in a Carlos-less world.
Yeah.
Like that was funny. That's like he's trying hard to make a pickup line, but it just doesn't work.
No.
But like the second time, it's just a silly joke. He's like
Hmm.
referring to earlier, and they're just like, haha, funny.
Yeah, I think that is what is they do progress his character, which I do like. Is they start him off as being like this like almost kind of like a chauvinistic man pig thing where he's like hitting on Jill, and then later there's like actually like a genuine respect between the two. I think they did that
Mhm.
dynamic interesting because like I think once it gets to like the hospital area, it's like there's like a genuine respect between the two.
Yeah. Okay. And again, I know you don't see it, but this was one of my favorite things. Where you climb up on the fire truck after like escaping Nemesis after like the second or third or fourth time,
Hmm.
and you happen to realize you landed in the back alley behind the station where like Kendo's shop is and stuff. And I'm just like walking up to it. I'm like, this looks really familiar for some reason. Then when I dropped down, I'm like, no way! Like, this is a cool tie-in.
Mm-hmm.
And all. Yeah, it's well done. Although I do find it strange. Again, they do a little blocking thing here. You go through the gate. They explain how that gate's open, and okay. But there's a bunch of bags of trash that are on the stairs, preventing you from going up the stairs. And I think
Right.
in RE2, those bags of trash are on the other side, preventing you from going the RE3 path, which technically didn't exist yet because they hadn't made the game. But I just find it funny. It's like, so you mean to tell me at some point Kendo abandoned, like his daughter left her back in that locked room, walked out of his shop, and like, I'm gonna move this trash for no fucking reason.
Father of the year.
It's the apocalypse, but this trash needs to go from these stairs to here. It serves no purpose.
No. It is cool to see Kendo because he was part of the Stars unit. Or
Oh, he
team.
was. I didn't know that. I just
Yeah.
thought he knew. I just thought he knew Jill is all.
Yeah, and I don't think they directly say his fate, but I can assume that he does not make it out.
I
'Cause
think
the
he
thi-
mixed a very important context clue.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So in RE2, like even in RE3, the daughter's already turned. He's already had to
Mhm.
like kill the wife and all. Um, in RE2, they do go in the shed or whatever it is, and you hear a gunshot. So he killed her, and I don't think there's a second one, but the implication of the that alternate timeline thing where like he goes and tries to like make it to the sewers and whatever to the subway line to escape, which I've still not completed, so I don't think we might not have that episode I wanted to do on the that extra stuff because it's just that shit's so impossible, and I
Most
don't want to
survivors is
cheat.
so hard.
Yeah, I'm
You
gonna
don't
do
want
it,
to.
but it's gonna take forever.
Mhm.
So yeah, Resident Evil 2 Part 5, maybe Season 7. We'll see.
Perhaps.
Anyways, it's implied in the opening like image for his thing. He's got the shotgun in his mouth, like he was about to kill himself when like the alternate thing shows up where he's like the radio's like, "Hey, we're trying to escape by the train. Anyone can make it. We'll take anybody." He killed himself after you left because like he had to kill his wife because she would turn zombie. She turned the daughter. He had to kill his daughter. Like there was nothing left for him.
Mhm.
Even if he didn't kill himself there, he was stayed behind and got
Died.
nuked. So
Yeah.
he
It's a
dies either
better
way.
death than a nuke.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I actually totally forgot about that one part with his daughter. That part in Resident Evil 2, they do really well in the remake.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
so what's your opinion on Carlos?
I would like to see more of him. I'd like them to like show like afterwards, like how he's like put him in one of the new games or something. Let's see, this is the 90s. The current games take place in present day, so he'd be like 40. Wait, no. He's probably like 30. Shit, he'd be like 50.
Yeah, but people in Resident Evil don't age. Jill's like
That's a
50.
good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, but we haven't seen Jill since Resident Evil 5, right?
Well, she's coming in the movie, the animated movie Death Island, and she looks just like she is in Resident Evil 3.
Yeah, but when does that take place, though? Does that take
I
place
think that's
present?
modern day because they all meet up.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, Leon and Jill meet for the first time,
Hmm.
which is cool. Two fan favorites.
Yeah, they actually met in Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City, which was a live action movie, which it I don't really recommend. It kind of sucked. They blend RE2 with some RE3 characters and maybe some events, but yeah, I don't know. It just kind of no. It was a lot of fan service. It wasn't like faithful, like, hey, we're gonna pay tribute to this. It just, yeah. Also,
That's
I love they just blew up the train where he gets grabbed and like, get off my train, cheat bard. I love how he says that. I can't take it serious. It sounds so funny.
yeah.
Uh,
It's weird because like on like the first playthrough, watching the cutscenes, I remember that guy. But all the subsequent playthroughs, it's just like once I get to the station, I'm like, oh hey, yeah, that guy.
yeah,
He's like the Russian. There's two
yeah,
Russian characters. There's the one with
yeah,
the wound in his chest that he's just kind of bleeding out on the train.
yeah. That's the same guy. And then you
Yeah, and then
have
there's Nikolai. No,
Nikolai. Yes, I forget his last name or whatever, but yeah, he's a piece of shit who's like probably working for what's his name?
Wesker.
Yeah, he could have been working for Wesker because yeah, he does die at the end.
Well, there was he was like selling it to the highest bidder, the antidote thing. So I think
Yeah,
if anything, he would have ended up in the future probably associating with Wesker
probably. Yeah,
if he lived, but he did not.
yeah. Um,
Oh, we should have put a spoiler warning, but we just kind of went ahead and.
yeah. The game's been out for like 3 years, so
We can just do like a disclaimer before we even begin, or like tape it and put it in or something.
nah.
Nah.
It's a remake.
Okay.
It's a remake of a game from the '90s. People should have played it by now. You had 20 years to do this.
Go play a Resident Evil game, guys, or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Honestly, if you had the choice between the Resident Evil 2 remake and Resident Evil 3 remake, I would honestly say get the Resident Evil 2 remake. It's masterful. It's
yeah,
beautiful. It's a great game.
yeah.
Resident
Like
Evil.
I'd still recommend playing it, but like get it cheap, get it on the
hmm
Steam sale or something.
It's
Enjoy
not
it for
that
what it
much.
is.
Yeah, it's like it's good and it's fun, but it's not as like impactful as the second game's remake because it's just like the content's not there.
I'm just noticing you're like barely on screen
Oh, I am not. Oh, here, let
ever
me.
since you moved. Yeah, ever since you moved.
There we go.
Yeah, yeah. Get closer to the blank TV that you're seeing. All right, Jill's just getting infected now by Nemesis,
Oh yeah,
which
that
knocks her out for like a good little bit. Ugh.
Jill's got like a great immune system because that turns most people.
Yeah. Oh, now this reminds me, because I don't think it was shown. I noticed something very interesting when I recently replayed this because I've just played 4, and will
hmm
be a little bit of spoiler for 4. How the some of the Ganado zombies, if you want to call them that, they have this mutation thing where their head like bursts open and all these tentacles come out and shit, and they just like
hmm
swing around and there's a barbed end and it just like hits you. I found it very interesting that Nemesis basically has a precursor to that where you return some of the zombies. And they don't have the hook, but they do have like the tentacle things, the head burst open. It's kind of similar.
It is, yeah.
It's just not as like refined, I guess.
That's a
Whereas
good
the
point.
Ganados, they actually were like for probably many, many years experimented on and they were perfected and whatever.
hmm
So, because like they're not just like your regular zombie, like they follow orders by like
Yeah,
whoever. I forget how the hell that shit worked. It made no
they're,
sense. Oh,
they're
whoever had
like
like
in a hive mind.
yeah, they had like a what was it? Salvador? What was his name?
Salazar. Wait, no. I'm thinking. Wait. Oh, what's his name? I haven't played 4 in a second.
Oh yeah, whatever the villain is, had like the master parasite or whatever, and that just like allowed him to telepathically control anyone else with it.
Yeah.
Unless they're a main character who has a lot of willpower.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay, we got 60 minutes left of footage here.
Want to talk about the story?
Yeah, well, we are.
Well, I mean, like, what? Let's the so the apartment we talked about, like, her going through the city. So she's asked to turn on the subway station, and that's when we witnessed those Demos things, which are they're like ceiling crawling spider things, and supposedly they're supposed to replace these spiders that are in the original because people don't like spiders, but they replaced it with something I would say is even more horrifying than a spider.
Yeah, zombie spiders.
Yeah.
I think it was more or less to like just maybe if the original just had just straight up big spiders, they were like, this doesn't really make sense. Let's make it make sense. So we'll make them like they're like some zombie thing, or like for part of the outbreak or whatever, which is kind
Yeah,
of weird.
it is. And the thing is that's the first and only time we see them because they get destroyed.
The
Which is I'm actually I don't know. Do you think they
yeah,
should have been in more
I feel
of the
like
game?
I feel like they just kept them there because like if they just put zombies there, people would have bitched more. Like you took something out. Where they altered them a bit, I feel like it was just to like, well, let's just keep this here because it was there originally.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, of all the things you chose to keep versus getting rid of, you decided to keep the spiders. Like, why not
Mm-hmm.
some of the other like story beats or whatever that actually made sense?
Right.
Um,
So you go through the
and
maze. Sorry, what?
yeah, let's see. Yeah, you go through the maze. You got to turn all those switches back. What the fuck is with my tracking right now? Yeah, you flip all these switches and then you fry the whole thing. And then that, like we already talked about what happened after that. Like you got the subway system back online, and then it blows up. Get off my train, shitbird, and he goes to the station, and yeah,
And
then
then
she
yeah.
gets attacked by Nemesis again and poisoned. I mean, not poisoned. She gets a parasite
Right.
that's like killing her.
Yeah, beforehand she tracks through the sewer in a pretty quick sequence with those
Oh yeah,
salamander
yeah,
things or whatever they are. Those things that can just swallow you whole if they open their mouth and they come at you.
yeah. Those are Venom Jubear creatures. They made a special appearance in this game.
Yeah, I would agree that they are. Uh, you get the grenade launcher, one of the best weapons that you don't get from the weird marketplace thing. It's really helpful when you're fighting Nemesis in the form where he acts like a rabid dog and afterwards poisons you. Uh, you have to
Hang
use
on,
the
I gotta
mine. Sorry.
keep talking. My tracking's fucking up because it suddenly got too dark in my room. I'm trying to find my light switch.
Oh, okay. And so
Where?
yeah, it's it says roughly half a day or something from the time lapse in the game. And yeah, the thing is I like the entire time I'm like Jill didn't turn that entire time. I mean,
Yeah,
she's a protagonist, but I'm still like, damn. Oh, your arms are phasing through your chest.
yeah. I'm reaching to turn my blind. Funny enough, for me, my left arm is stretching out while I'm holding my controller, but it's stretching in the same direction I am in real life. And there's a window next to me, so this is really trippy to look at. It's like it's doing it correctly. Okay.
So we do the hospital thing, and we're introduced, are actually reintroduced to an enemy from the first game, the Alpha Hunters or whatever they're called, the Hunters, and they're the weird lizard things that jump at you.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're fun. They're if you've got explosives, they're really easy. But like their bullet sponge if you're just using regular. You okay there?
Yeah, I'm just trying to fix my boundary here because it's being really stupid.
Oh, I feel you. I
It
feel you.
when the light switched, it lost where it was, so now it thinks I'm like half a foot floating above my floor.
Oh
So
no.
that's why I'm taller all of a sudden.
Okay.
I can't really fix that. So I'm just going to sit down. We'll call that a fix.
Good idea. Wait, you're not
Yeah.
levitating in your room?
No, not yet. Maybe
Okay.
later.
Sounds good. Uh, so we're hospital. Nathaniel Bard, who the one of the reasons they went to Carlos and his friend, who I'm blanking on the name of,
Yeah, I don't remember.
and
I just know he dies.
yeah, the thing is like they go to the police station so they can find Nathaniel Bard or whatever, or get him because he's in the STARS office or something. And they Carlos slowly kind of realizes that the Umbrella Corps. Oh, by the way, Carlos works for the Umbrella, but he's like a special unit or something, and that's kind of why there was a bit of like a tension between Jill and Carlos, was because she knows what Umbrella does and is capable of. They ruined
Yeah,
the city, and Carlos slowly learns that that is the case. That the Umbrella is not good. And through this, he one of the things is the dialogue between him and his friend when they first get to the station, and his friend's going through the computer, and they originally they told Carlos it was a rescue mission, but it's actually to find him and detain Nathaniel Bard. And Carlos is like, "Oh, okay, now I see how things are."
yeah.
And
All right. I mean,
we go to the hospital, and we're in the hospital now. We're talking about, and Carlos goes through. He finds a tape recorder, and he does this really elaborate run around to get a recording of Nathaniel Bard saying that his name, so he can go through a voice activated door.
yeah, and it's funny because the clip he gets is like I don't know what they were recording exactly. Probably like it's probably just dictation with like, oh, patients like such and such and suffering from such and such, whatever. But like the nurse, I guess, pisses him off, and he just suddenly, fairly loudly into the thing goes, "Do you know who I am? I'm goddamn Nathaniel Bard." And the door just accepts that.
I love the delivery of that line too.
Like it's so on purpose. It's like they told him what he was saying it for, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
It's good.
either that or it's just because you got to look for it. It's feeling more,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, forced.
It's good.
Um,
It's good. It's got the Resident Evil dialogue vibe, which is good. Where it's got the little
yeah,
camp to it. Uh,
yeah,
we find the recording, we put it in, and we use the voice activated thing. One of my favorite lines comes from when Carlos goes to the voice recording thing. He's like, "What kind of sci-fi bullshit is this?"
yeah. Um, um, you good?
Yeah, my mouse fell.
Yeah, you're just saying that and you just went. All right. Yeah, and then like he does get in there, but Nathaniel's at this point he's killed himself because or somebody killed him rather, to just kind of silence him because like he
Yeah.
did create a cure for this thing, but like obviously, yeah, somebody don't want that cure getting out. Not that they would have really been able to do much with it at the time,
No, it would
but
have been like putting a band-aid on a broken leg.
yeah, he does get the last remaining sample of it, and ends up using it to cure Jill.
Yeah, Carlos reads a terminal after seeing that Nathaniel Bard's brain is no longer in his head. He goes and reads his terminal computer. Don't know why I say terminal. That's some old-fashioned. But he's like, oh, it's Nikolai or something. He somehow gets to that, and then he punches the computer.
Yeah.
And when he punched the computer, I instantly thought, oh, this is. By the way, just for context, we shot the second episode of this before we shot this episode. So I'm just going to mention something in the second episode that will make context later is the Arthur Morgan thing. I instantly thought of the mod you did where he punches the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he gets the antidote, shoots up Jill. Antidote that he doesn't shoot her. He uses the antidote. Oh wait,
Yeah.
no, wait. Wait.
Yeah, he gets the antidote, gives it to her, and then there's a whole bunch of zombies attacking, and he has to deal with that. That's a neat sequence. It's kind of strange that they're all deciding to attack the hospital all at once, but okay.
Mm-hmm. It's one. If you're trying to get the records, there's like kill 1,000 zombies. That is one of the best places to grind. But so the thing is it says it's an endless horde, but if you get near the end and you just keep using a rocket launcher, so you know when they break through the door and you have to use the C4. If you don't use the C4, you can just endlessly use the rocket launcher on them, and then the waves will stop after a while. That way, you could, if you're having like a hard time, you could just pick up the rocket launcher and break the game.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna break to talk about what's on screen here. I love at the end when the final nemesis bit, he just kind of like slides in like a giant shit. It's so goofy.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we'll backtrack. I just wanted to mention that because that's what was on the screen. I had to roll it back actually, but I didn't want to scroll too far back.
Oh, all good, all good.
Anyways, let's see. Yeah, so she gets up after a bit. She follows down into a facility that's underneath. It's Nest 2, literally. She creates one last synthesis of the vaccine, and after she does that, she gets pretty much. She ends up having to fight Nemesis again, and Nikolai shows up and like takes it from her.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
he's like, "Oh, I can sell this."
Yeah,
He's a douche.
yeah, and he's like, well, you fight the monster, and it'll make the data will be worth millions, and maybe if you do a good job, I'll let you have it back. She doesn't really have a choice, so she has to fight Nemesis. And then if you get the whole thing where Carlos comes in and like helps dunk some acid on him, and I'm gonna melt this fucker into mush.
Mm-hmm.
Which is another line I love.
There's some good lines in this game. There's
yeah.
The civilian dude you see in the beginning where he locks himself in the truck and he's like, "I'm safe in here," or some shit like that. It's like some good Resident Evil dialogue.
Yeah, she's trying to like get him like like come with me. We'll go to the roof. It's safe. And he just cuts her off like the only safe place is in here. And slams the door. Funny enough, in the original game, this is one thing I just remembered that I know, is you actually come back to that area and he's turned.
Oh.
Like he got bit somehow. So you do have to come back and kill him, and that's not in this. You can't even go back to that area.
Yeah. It's like once you're done with an area in Resident Evil 3, that's the last time you see it.
Pretty much. And yeah, after that bit, you have one last little you have your second to last meeting with Nikolai, and you're like pointing guns at each other, and she's like, "Give me the damn vaccine." And he's like, "No, you print money. I like money. We shall make ours an ongoing arrangement." And then, yeah, that's when Nemesis shows up as a giant shit. You have to fight him again, and it's a short sequence, but you as you guys can see on here, you gotta push these batteries into place and grab this like no way she's lifting this massive fucking I don't know, lightning rail gun, whatever it
Yeah.
is, and yeah, you got to do it twice. The first time it like didn't have enough power and just hurts him. The second time it's got enough juice, and yeah, you quite literally, yeah, you blow a hole through him.
Yeah, you blow a hole through him and the wall behind him.
Yeah, and here it is.
Take a fucking hand.
Kaboom! He's just blown up. There we go.
Oh, also, I want to mention one thing: is Jill in this game? I love. Actually, this made me really like Jill. Is the give no fucks attitude. She's like straight off of Resident Evil 1, got experience from all that, and it's just become like I give no shits. Calls Nemesis bitch all the time. She can't swim
Yeah.
is another favorite line.
Something I always laugh at is as soon as she blows Nemesis up, she like the explosion like blows her back a little bit. She lands on her back and there's just blood splattering, and she's got her mouth open. I'm like, no. She got zombie AIDS from that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully,
yeah. She's vaccinated.
And then you have this section which where she like goes to the elevator, and it's like the same kind of setup that elevator has in RE2. So I wonder if they kind of just took the that area and then they just remodeled the little elevator section and just. I mean, it makes sense, but it just feels very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he goes up the elevator, the last confrontation with Nikolai, and the vaccine ends up getting destroyed. But yeah, he's just like they managed to get him left behind. So he ends up getting he gets roasted extra spicy.
What he deserves. And yeah, the thing is about the Nemesis fight on the harder difficulties, it's actually dog shit because he is so fast that he'll do a stun move where if he gets you in the so you know how he does the slam move and he does it 3 times. If he gets you with the first one, you're dead. Because he'll hit you with the other 2 really fast and you'll die. I can't tell you how many times I died to that specific move and only that move. And it's supposed to be a really fast sequence, but it makes it really long. But the difficulties, since we're kind of at the end, we can talk about like bonus stuff. The difficulties are actually kind of fun for the most part, besides the final boss fight. Because like Nightmare difficulty and Inferno difficulty, I don't know if Hardcore does the same, introduces switched spawn points for enemies. Like for instance, like if you're in the police station and you're Carlos and
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you'll like encounter like 2 lickers, and then you'll encounter Brad. Brad will actually come through one of the doors if you go to the lockup, and you get the battery for the explosives on the top. And then you'll encounter whiteheads earlier, and then you'll encounter the spaghetti heads earlier too.
That's what. Interesting name, yeah.
I think they're called. I forget. They're like beta something or whatever.
Yeah. Something I didn't play much. I tried one of those harder difficulties, and I remember I streamed it to you because I was showing you like, let me give this an attempt. And like I managed to make it like you can get past the opening bit pretty easy because it's all on rails pretty much. But when I got to where that zombie comes at you the first time as you're like loading up the gun. and
Yeah.
then that you run away, that thing collapses, and you crawl under it. When you come underneath, there's normally just a zombie crawling out of the bus that you can just run past and avoid. But they add a zombie coming through the gate that just beelines to you, and like you got to take it out fast. And it's
Yeah,
like I had like 2 bullets, so for some reason. I think I killed that first zombie by mistake, just for kicks, and then I'm like, yeah, because I don't even need these just yet. And then I go through and like, shit, I don't. Now I can't kill this dipshit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, the beginning is like dodge, 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 dodge with the harder difficulties, which is
oh, hey, look, it's Oppenheimer.
oh, in theaters now. Uh,
Yeah, we were not paid by Christopher Nolan to do that, but yeah, I haven't even seen
mm,
it.
neither have I. I want to see the Barbie movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait though because I just don't feel like going to theaters right now.
It'd be kind of just a grown man. One ticket for Barbie, please. But I feel like at
Yeah,
this point, people would understand.
I mean, yeah, I think people understand, but it's also I just like I don't want to do that.
Yeah, you
It's
have to
just
do it in the
awkward.
deepest voice, though. One ticket for Barbie, please.
Yeah,
You have to
I
assert
mean,
the dominance that you understand the gravity of the situation, how it can be embarrassing, but you're too cool. You're too
oh
cool.
my god, I think the last movie I saw in theaters was freaking shit. What was it? It might have been Rise of Gru last year,
Oh
which that was
damn!
actually that was funny.
The last thing I saw in theaters was the Mario movie. The Mario movie was good.
Yeah, I'm gonna see it soon. I own it, but I gotta get through some other movies first.
I'll stream it if you ever want to stream it, and I'll watch it again with you. It's a pretty fun movie.
Yeah, sure. Um, yeah, and unfortunately, even though I haven't even completed the RE2 bonus stuff, they don't even include stuff like that in this. So there's like really you don't really have anything to do but replay the campaign, but do it on a harder difficulty and get all the achievements and stuff.
Yeah,
Uh,
the records give you points that you can use to buy things from the store. But honestly, I gotta be honest with you, I liked the way Resident Evil 2's remake did it, where you actually earned it. It felt like you earned it by doing the S ranks and stuff.
yeah.
But
Or
it's
you can
like
just be
it's
like me and pay what was it? I paid I don't know if it was $5 or $10 I paid to like get all of this.
and you could do the same thing in this game too, actually.
I
Which
think
I
I
actually
did.
think is a nice move. It's a nice move. But I would have liked that if some of the stuff
Oh
was
shit.
behind. Oh,
My cord's go ahead, keep talking. I got
uh,
stuck for a second.
was behind the records for unlockables, because I don't know if there's a lot of because like there's concept art and shit, but I would have liked weapons and stuff. But
Yeah.
I think Resident Evil 4's remake does that, where they put some outfits and stuff behind records, which is cool.
Yeah, there seemed to be a lot more. I finished the campaign and it was a much longer campaign than 2 or 3.
Hmm.
I don't know why I mentioned 3. 3 is very short. But 2, like if you play it legitimately, it can take you like 8 to 10 hours, um, or so. If you're not like still trying to speed run it, essentially,
Hmm.
if you're just playing and pacing yourself like how they probably would be moving themselves, it'll take you a good time. RE4 probably I think it ended up being 14 to 18 hours for me.
Yeah, it's a long game. The original is a long game in itself too, in comparison to Resident Evil, at least.
Mhm. But yeah, I think that wraps up what I've got to say about this game. Again, if you want to play it, get it super cheap because it's out of the 3 remakes that we have. Well, the new remakes. There was a remake of the first game, but it's very very old. It honestly needs to be remade again.
It's a good remake,
Uh,
but yeah, I do agree.
Yeah, I still got the tank controls and stuff. I tried a bit of it, but I just couldn't get into it as well as these.
You can change
But
that.
I mean, I think I did. I made it smoother, but it's still just like the
Jank.
perspectives and stuff. I
Yeah.
don't. Yeah, I like the new style where it's like the camera's like behind the side and it works well.
Hmm.
But yeah, out of the new RE2, RE3, and RE4, I say RE2 and 4 are absolutely the best. I personally, I'd say RE2 is still my favorite. RE4 is like second. RE3 is like still at the bottom, but keep in mind that's still a very short list. I don't hate the game, but it's like it could have done way more.
It's fun, but it is like it's compared to 2. It's Hollow-esque, but not like I don't want to say that it's like a Hollow game because there is fun to be had with it, and there is I got the platinum for it, and I enjoyed doing it for the most part. But it's like comparison. Resident Evil 2's platinum took me way longer because there was like way more content, and I actually kind of enjoyed doing that a little more. But yeah, it's a good game. It's fun. If you're playing through the series and you're doing like the remakes and shit, get it. If it's like Heroicus said, if it's on sale, but buy 2 first. 2's good. You don't even need to play 1 to understand 2.
Yeah,
This turned into a Resident Evil 2 episode, part 6.
yeah. Here, let me just go over here and change that, and there we go. It's Resident Evil 3, 2 now. I mean,
Perfect. Hey, welcome to the VHS podcast. Today we are doing Resident Evil Part 72.
all right, for real. Yeah, that's the end of this. Tune in next week for the episode we recorded in the past, but for you, it's in the future. Resident Evil 3 Part 2. The
The days
mods.
of future past.
Not, well, the mods isn't like the subtitle, but we're talking about mods next time.
Mm-hmm.
What were you saying?
Oh, I made a joke. I said days of future past.
Shame I don't have an X-Men model that I could switch to. I should
Don't
look
forget
for
to
one.
wipe. I'm going to stop saying that one. I think doing it twice is good.
I didn't even hear you.
Don't forget to wipe. Something my dad used to say.
Nice. That's good, actually. All right. Yeah. See you next time.